Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. What if I told you that real-life sea monsters exist, and I have some living right here in my house? No, I'm not talking about some mythical creature from a fantasy movie. I'm talking about some of the most bizarre, fascinating, and ancient creatures you can actually keep as pets. Today, we're diving deep into the world of my very own sea monsters. So, what exactly are these creatures? Let's start with the stars of the show, my triops. The name triops literally means three eyes, and if you look closely, you can see why. They have two large compound eyes and a tiny third eye, or ocellus, in the middle that detects light. But the craziest thing about them isn't their looks, it's their life story. Triops are often called living fossils because their ancestors swam in the same waters as dinosaurs over 200 million years ago. They haven't changed much since then, which is just mind-blowing. The way they come to life is straight out of science fiction. You don't buy live triops at a store. You buy their eggs, which look like a little packet of dust. These eggs are in a state of suspended animation called diapause. In the wild, this allows them to survive for decades in dried-up ponds, just waiting for the rain to return. All I have to do is add some purified water to this magic dust, and within 24 to 48 hours, tiny little specks start zipping around. It's like watching life spontaneously generate right before your eyes. It never gets old. From those nearly invisible specks, they grow at an incredible rate. Within just a couple of weeks, they can reach their full size of about 2 to 3 inches long. They develop this amazing shield-like carapace, long forked tails, and dozens of feathery legs that are constantly in motion. These legs aren't just for swimming. They also help them breathe and kick food towards their mouths. They are constantly digging and foraging in the sand, stirring up sediment, looking for anything to eat. They're like little underwater bulldozers. And right next to them in another tank, we have their equally ancient cousins, the sea monkeys. Now, most of us probably remember those old comic book ads, promising a magical kingdom of happy, smiling, human-like creatures. The reality is a little different, but no less magical. Sea monkeys are actually a unique, hybrid-bred species of brine shrimp, scientifically known as Artemia nidos. The creator of sea monkeys engineered them to be hardier and live longer than typical brine shrimp, specifically for the home aquarium environment. Just like triops, they start as tiny eggs in a packet. You add them to salt water, and boom, life begins. They are much smaller and more delicate than triops. Watching them is like observing a graceful, otherworldly ballet. They swim upside down, using their 11 pairs of legs, called phylopods, to propel themselves through the water and filter out tiny particles of algae and bacteria to eat. They are fascinating to watch as they grow, mate, and swim in their little synchronized dance. Sometimes you'll see them latched onto each other, forming long trains as they mate. It's a whole miniature society in a tank. Now, you might be wondering, is it hard to take care of these prehistoric pets? The answer is both yes and no. The initial setup is the most critical part. Water quality is everything. You absolutely have to use distilled, purified, or spring water, because tap water contains chlorine and other chemicals that are lethal to them, especially when they're just hatching. The temperature also needs to be just right, usually a cozy 72 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. A small heater and a thermometer are your best friends here. For the triops, their tank needs a layer of sand or fine gravel at the bottom. This is super important because it's where they love to dig for food. And more importantly, it's where the females will lay their eggs to continue the cycle. The sea monkeys, on the other hand, are happy in a bare-bottom tank, which makes cleaning a bit easier. Feeding is pretty simple once they get past the initial few days. When they first hatch, they're so small, they feed on infusoria, microscopic organisms that are often included in the egg packet or develop naturally in the water. After a few days, you can start giving them tiny amounts of crushed fish flakes, algae wafers, or specialized triops or sea monkey food. The key is not to overfeed. Leftover food fouls the water very quickly, and that's the #1 killer of these little guys. I feed them just a tiny pinch once a day, or even every other day. One of the most common questions I get is, how long do they live? This is the bittersweet part of keeping these creatures. Their lifespan is incredibly short and fast. Triops typically live for about 60 to 90 days. It's a full, action-packed life, but it's over in a flash. Sea monkeys can live a bit longer, sometimes for several months, with some people reporting they've kept a colony going for over a year under perfect conditions. Their short lifespan is actually part of their survival strategy. In the wild, they live in temporary pools that might only exist for a few weeks. They have to hatch, grow, mature, and lay eggs before the water dries up. So, while it's sad when they pass away, it's also a chance to start the cycle all over again. After my triops complete their life, I can carefully dry out the sand in their tank. Those invisible eggs are now dormant in that sand. Months or even years later, I can just add water again, and a new generation will hatch. It's an incredible lesson in the resilience of life and the power of nature's cycles. It's like having an infinite pet. So why do I love keeping these monsters? Because they are a window into another time. They connect us to the deep prehistoric past in a very real and tangible way. It's one thing to see a fossil in a museum, but it's another thing entirely to watch a living fossil swim, eat, and grow in your own home. They are a constant source of wonder. They teach you about biology, ecology, and the delicate balance of an ecosystem. You learn about water chemistry, life cycles, and the importance of paying attention to the smallest details. They're also incredibly relaxing to watch. After a stressful day, just sitting and observing their tiny world can be a form of meditation. Watching the triops diligently digging or the semonkeys gracefully twirling, it just pulls you in and makes you forget about everything else for a little while. It reminds you that there's this whole universe of life happening on a scale we rarely notice. If you're thinking about getting some of your own, I say go for it. It's a fantastic and rewarding hobby for any age. Just do your research first. There are tons of great resources online and dedicated communities that can help you succeed. Start with a simple kit, follow the instructions carefully, and be patient. Don't be discouraged if your first attempt doesn't work out. It's a learning process. But when you see those first tiny specks of life appear in the water, I promise you, you'll be hooked. It's a feeling of pure magic. These aren't your typical pets. You can't cuddle them or take them for a walk, but they offer something different, a unique connection to the natural world and a reminder of the incredible, enduring, and sometimes very strange story of life on Earth. They are my little sea monsters, and they are awesome. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today and exploring my prehistoric aquatic world. I hope you found it as fascinating as I do. If you have any questions about keeping triops or sea monkeys, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to help out. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of weird and wonderful pets. See you in the next one.